This is News Around Africa on Star Television Channel 21. I am Eric Silas Kawa. But before we start, let's have the commercials.
The naira has continued to slide against major currencies like the dollar, especially in the unofficial black market. Addressing a forum of bankers in Lagos, Emefiele blamed the current economic crisis on the management of past forex gains. He's warned that Nigeria's external reserves may continue to dwindle as long as oil prices remain low.
Every economy goes through phases of booms and busts, peaks and valleys, highs and lows, prosperity and difficulty. Contrary to correct policies prescriptions during times of boom, we opened up our economy to all commerce and dropped all capital controls.
First story, let's start off in Kenya. It's been another day of high political drama in Kenya. Millions are due to vote next week in a rerun of the presidential election. But the head of the Electoral Commission says he cannot guarantee it will be credible or free or fair.
Some worrying words from Kenya's electoral chief.
As the referee, I want to issue a stern warning to the players of this game on all sides that they should stop all attempts to interfere with the process. Failure to do this will result in consequences, as I've made up my mind to uphold the Constitution and the will of the people of Kenya, regardless of threats, intimidation and pressure.
Wafula Chebukati is scheduled to preside over an election on October 26th, but many question whether it's possible. This is actually a rerun. The first presidential vote back in August was voided by the courts, which blamed failings by the Electoral Commission. Incumbent Uhuru Kenyatta is ready to run again. But his arch-rival Raila Odinga says he's boycotting the vote because the Electoral Commission won't meet his demands for reform. There have been protests outside IEBC offices, and IEBC staff have been harassed. Some have received death threats. High-profile Commissioner Roselyn Akambe has quit and fled the country, fearing for her life. Chebukati called this briefing in response to her resignation. He says he won't quit, but he's struggling.
I've made several attempts to make critical changes, but all my motions have been defeated by a majority of the commissioners. Under such conditions, it's difficult to guarantee free, fair and credible elections.
Even as Chebukati was talking, his officials were being harassed as they tried to train in an opposition stronghold. Chebukati is now calling for talks with Kenyatta and Odinga. The Commission's credibility was already badly damaged by the first bungled vote. This latest drama does little to help restore confidence. And with the clock ticking down to the vote, it's a drama nervous Kenyans can do without.
In Uganda, campaigners are warning of inadequate access to food for households if farmers don't take up smart agriculture solutions like irrigation or improved seed varieties. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, attributes the current food challenges in Uganda to forced migration, which is stretching resources in the country.
Ugandan farmers were hit hard by crop failures in the first season of this year. Soaring temperatures had an impact on crops like bananas and maize. The prolonged drought affected farmers in the central and northeastern parts of Uganda most. The government says the long dry spell and infestations of pests and diseases in the first half of the year explains the current food shortages. But the Food and Agriculture Organization cites the large numbers of migrants who are putting a strain on food resources in the country.
Uganda itself has this internally, there are communities that are on the move. Living along the South Sudan, people are coming in and so on. Because I mean, we're talking of communities that are looking for water, they're looking for pastures, and they're also looking for land where to settle. So I think we don't need to look at the South Sudan challenge as the only challenge we have in terms of food security.
The FAO says farmers need more support in terms of access to credit and provision of improved seeds and fertilizers. The agency has begun empowering refugee communities with seed to grow their own food. Campaigners also urge modern agriculture methods to increase production at household level.
but also to take advantage of technologies that exist that could offset technologies means, improved varieties, improved animal breeds that could withstand the situation, the changing climate in terms of, high temperatures, too much rain, or excesses, extended droughts.
Farmers have also been advised to begin water harvesting from nearby lakes and rivers. Uganda's rural populations are predominantly agriculture-based, and as the world celebrates World Food Day, campaigners say more young people need to get involved in agriculture to increase household income and beat hunger.
Let's take some commercial break and we'll be right back.
The best investment in a child's life is education, as it educates and prepares the child for the future. But having that in a very conducive atmosphere is one thing that every child yearns for. At Nyakom Nursery Preparatory and High School, situated at number 5 Bauma of Femitono Drive, Godrich, your child's future is guaranteed. At Nyakom, we admit pupils from nursery to SSS4. Striving for excellence is one of Nyakom's mission, and that is accomplished through our conducive learning environment that comes in a fenced compound, a one-to-one seating accommodation, trained and qualified teachers, guidance and counseling units, plus a spacious playing ground which affirms the saying, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. At Nyakom, recreational facilities are available for your child's relaxation and learning, like baskets and volleyball courts, DSTV facility, fully equipped computer and science labs, with bus services ensuring their pupils are picked up and dropped to and from school, thus guaranteeing their safety. Make haste and have your child or ward admitted into Nyakom Nursery Preparatory and High School, which is situated at number 5 Bauma of Femitono Drive, Godrich, as admission for the academic year 2017 and 2018 has commenced. Education is the key, remember.
You're still watching news around Africa on Star Television Channel 21. Over to Congo now. Burundian refugees in the Democratic Republic of Congo say they are not getting enough food to eat. About 400,000 people have fled Burundi since its political crisis began in 2015, when President Pierre Nkurunziza announced his bid to run for a third term. The government is accused of trying to silence its critics over extrajudicial killings, disappearances and torture, all of which it denies. About 40,000 of the refugees are in the east of the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. Some of them told Al Jazeera that there are problems with the food supply.
These people say they've waited days for food to be delivered. They live here in Lusenda refugee camp in the Democratic Republic of Congo after fleeing conflict in neighbouring Burundi. And they were keen to talk to us. They were issued electronic cards by the UN's World Food Programme for them to buy food. They say they stopped working, and that's why they're waiting for food in trucks. Marina Bender looks after a family of 12. Like many, she thinks she's a victim of fraud by humanitarian workers.
They gave us cards that don't work. The staff kept the cards that work, so when we go to get food, we get nothing, and we go home hungry.
More than 30,000 people live in the camp. Most of them were issued the electronic cards in July, on which they're meant to receive $15 a month. The camp president told us people are now waiting for food trucks because more than 1,000 cards have since stopped working.
The first month, there was no problem. Then we realized that there were some duplicate cards. So WFP blocked the duplicates. But some other people were affected. Due to this, some people have not been served food for up to 3 months.
Then fighting between the army and an armed group in the surrounding area delayed the deliveries for days. So when the trucks finally arrived, people were pleased. The World Food Programme told us the electronic card systems worked well elsewhere. But here, it left some people hungry and waiting. The area manager told us there can be technical problems, and the system makes fraud difficult and unlikely.
Anything is possible under the sun, but with the checks that we have put in place, and remember, this is not the first time WFP is doing this. Everybody, tries their best to ensure that there is no fraud. I mean, it's for refugees who are completely destitute.
Since the delivery made it, they'll eat for now.
Every family's given some sacks of this cornmeal, some of these split dried peas, and a little bit of cooking oil and a little bit of salt. It's a basic diet. Every meal is the same. And a lot of the people that we've spoken to here say they immediately have to give some of what they collect away. They've been borrowing food from their neighbours in recent days, so they have to repay their food debts.
That's what Marie says she'll have to do with some of hers. She has 5 children of her own and looks after 5 others, one of whom's a baby she found abandoned when running away from militia in Burundi. Every day's a struggle here in the camp, but at least today they'll have a meal.
In Togo, 4 people have died in Togo in clashes between security forces and protesters demanding the resignation of President Faure Gnassingbé. Police fired tear gas at people defying a government ban on midweek protests for a second day.
The Gnassingbé family has ruled Togo for half a century. These protesters say it's time for a change.
We want change, we want jobs for our youth. We don't want the Gnassingbé family in this country.
We're really fed up with this regime. They've been in power for 50 years now and they're doing nothing to develop the country. We want the 1992 constitution, and I can assure you that we're all engaged from south to the north in our efforts to have our constitution back.
Opposition activists have been demonstrating since August. They want constitutional reforms, including a 2-term limit for the president. They say their protests have been met by a police crackdown. This man says he was beaten up by officers.
I was on my way home. I turned a corner and met about 20 policemen who beat me. My God, I was beaten severely.
Anger on the streets has become a regular scene in Lomé, but President Faure Gnassingbé does have plenty of support as many try to shore up his family's dynasty. The government has put conditions on where and when people can protest. It's also cut the internet to control what it says is hate speech and misinformation. ECOWAS, the West African economic group that Gnassingbé currently heads, has urged Togo to set a date for a constitutional referendum. And the United Nations has called on government leaders in Togo to address the demands of the people.
Let's go for a short commercial and we'll be right back.
Have always wanted to get some good IT training, but often wondered where, when, and why. Allow me to share my pleasant discovery. Situated on the outskirts of Freetown on Mile 91 Freetown Highway, Silicon Hills, just opposite the former Camp Charlie, is the Canadian College of Modern Technology. And apart from its serene environment, which makes it most suitable for learning, this certified and accredited Canadian College of Modern Technology, with its well-experienced international and local teaching staff.
We offer courses in computer science, business administration, human resource management, development studies, and mass communication.
They will help you develop and demonstrate effective problem-solving skills to be successful IT professionals. You may also like to know that this fully equipped institution is not only special for its wireless connectivity and its unique waste management policy, which seeks to help reduce their carbon footprint, but also has a 24-hour solar electricity power supply and a backup generator. This highly secured campus also has a clinic, student hostels with clean running pipe-borne water, a canteen, and state-of-the-art learning facilities to make learning a good experience. Enrollment for 2016 starts right away. And here's a little secret. For the year 2016 and 2017, all registered students who meet all financial obligations will be provided with personal laptops to help them with their studies. So hurry now and get your application forms or contact them on these numbers: 079 630 407 or 099 140 208 or 025 343 175. The Canadian College of Modern Technology, where knowledge and hard work are the ultimate.
Canadian College of Modern Technology is the place where careers begins. Keep it high, rising.
In the Central African Republic, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres is due to travel to the Central African Republic next week to draw attention to what he calls the world's forgotten crisis. Violence is on the rise in the country, which has been divided along religious and ethnic lines. Al Jazeera's Charlotte Bellis reports.
Antonio Guterres draws attention as UN Secretary General, and he's hoping his pull extends to the Central African Republic.
My visit also aims to draw attention to a fragile situation that is often far from the media spotlight. Across the country, communal tensions are growing, violence is spreading, and the humanitarian situation is deteriorating.
A ceasefire ended civil war in CAR 3 years ago, but the violence never really stopped. The country is divided down religious and ethnic lines. More than 1 million people have either fled the country or been displaced inside it. CAR's new leader, Faustin Touadéra, told the United Nations General Assembly last month that his country still needs help.
We need to remember the humanitarian situation, which has worsened in many parts of our country because of the upsurge of violence, because of ferocious competition for the control of natural resources.
The UN wants to add 900 troops to the 12,000-strong peacekeeping force in CAR, but confidence in the UN's forces has been damaged by allegations of widespread sexual abuse. The Secretary-General says his visit will show the UN is taking the issue seriously.
During my visit, I will be accompanied by Jane Connors, who I appointed recently to serve as the organization's first victims' rights advocate. We are determined to ensure that the voices of victims are heard. I will myself be ready to meet with victims and their families.
The sex abuse scandal means Guterres has to repair not just CAR, but the UN's reputation.
Well, viewers, that's all we've got time for on News Around Africa on Star Television, Channel 21. From us here at the studio, we want to say thank you so very much. I'm Eric Seleskawa. See you.